Here on this channel, I've always shown you how to make money and gold within Red Dead Online. These are the most important currencies within the game. They're used to buy into all content. But there is something that is still important which we don't cover as much. This is XP. In this video, I will show you all the ways in which you can grind XP for your character, the roles, and the quick draw clubs. Before I do get into the video, if you enjoy the content here and want to see a bit more from me, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. We are uploading the latest Red Dead videos every single week, giving you the latest news and the latest tutorials. So if you do want to stay up to date with everything, then make sure you are following the channel. Getting back into the video, XP hasn't been covered as much on this channel because there's a point in where it doesn't become useful anymore. This is when you get to rank 100 for your character, you reach max rank with the roles, or you hit max rank with the quick draw clubs. It's not until Rockstar releases new content such as new roles or new passes where all of this becomes useful again and you need to grind XP. But no matter what you're doing, you obviously clicked on this video because you need XP right now. So I'll be going through everything starting from the beginning. When you first start Red Dead, you need to go through the intro and the tutorial. Going through this will take you about an hour, but because it is the intro of the game, you're obviously not going to be getting any crazy rewards at the end of it. Once you finish this, you'll be put in free roam with other players. This is where you can start going through main missions. Main missions at the beginning will give you a very low reward, but will gradually increase as you go through the story. As it is your first time going through these missions, you'll have an increased reward at the end, giving you more money, more gold, and more XP. If you used to go back through these for a second time, you will have a lower payout. In total, there are 13 different Land of Opportunity missions, and I recommend going through each and every one of them, starting with honorable and then going dishonorable. No matter if you're grinding money, gold, or XP, which is what we're focusing on for this video, this beginning is always the same no matter what you're looking for. Once you finish all of these missions, you'll have about $1,000, you'll have 8 to 10 gold bars, and specifically for this video, you'll be ranked anywhere between 10 to 20. And the reason this is such a big gap is because it depends what you're doing. If you're going into these missions and you're letting the other players kill the NPCs, they're going to get more XP than you. It also depends what you're doing in between these missions. There is actually a time in which you need to wait for the next mission to show up within free roam. If you're just going to be waiting to do nothing, then you're going to get slightly less XP. But if you take the time just to do any type of activity within the world, you're going to get more, especially if you're going to the likes of stranger missions. Now, as said, the intro, no matter what you're grinding for within Red Dead, whether it's money, gold, or XP, you always start this way. This has always been my recommendation. But this is where things start to change up a bit if you're specifically looking for XP. In previous videos, whenever we're grinding gold, I always recommend you to go through the roles. The roles being Bounty Hunter, Collector, Moonshiner, Naturalist, Trader, and Prestigious Bounty Hunter, and go through it in this order. This is because the Bounty Hunter is the only role within the game that will give you active gold. By the time you get to rank 20 within this role, you'll have more than enough gold for you to buy into the next role, being the Collector. The Collector will give you a ton of money, allowing you to now be in a position where you can buy into what you want with gold from the Bounty Hunter, and you can buy into what you want from the Collector with money. The rest of the roles and order that they're in is the most efficient way in which you can go through things. Now, when anyone asks which order they should be going through the roles, this is what I always recommend. But if you have just started Red Dead Online and you do value XP more than money and gold, then this is the order in which you should go through the roles. The Collector, the Bounty Hunter, the Prestigious Bounty Hunter, the Naturalist, the Trader, and the Moonshiner. The reason for this order is because the Collector will give you more XP compared to any of the other roles, and it'll go all the way down to the role that will give you the least XP, being the Moonshiner. Once you do finally get enough gold to buy into one of these roles, this is where it gets a lot easier when grinding, even though you need to focus on other types of progression. You no longer just have to worry about your character rank, you also need to worry about your role rank. The good thing is when you're going through these roles, the role rank will increase, but also so will your character rank. So let's actually go through the best ways in which you can grind XP through each role. The first role being the Collector. With this, you want to use the Jour Rogue Collector map. A link to this will be found in the description down below. This shows you all collectible locations, giving you the opportunity to complete the sets very easily without actually having to buy any collector maps from Madame Nazar. For XP, you want to look at a guaranteed set and go to each location and pick up the collectible. Depending on the sets, how quick you are, and the placement on the day, you can normally complete about 3 sets per hour. Each collectible that you pick up will give you anywhere between 100 to 300 XP, and once you go and sell that set on, you'll get 1500 XP. For this video, I recorded footage going through tarot cards, cups, swords, and pentacles. And I did manage to complete all 3 sets using the wilderness camp, fast travel in just 1 hour. There's a total of 42 different cards that I need to collect, and if each one was giving me a minimum of 100 XP, I would have 4200 XP at the end. Once I sell these sets on, I will get an additional 4500 XP on top. And this would be if I was getting a minimum XP amount of 100 per collectible, but I was getting more than that. And this is the way it goes for all collector sets. The only benefit of going for the guaranteed sets is that you're guaranteed to complete the set at the end, so you're guaranteed an extra 1500. Whereas if you went for the coin set, it will give you slightly more XP per collectible you pick up, but you're not guaranteed that 1500 at the end of your work, because they are random. The other benefits when going through the collector is that you do get a lot of money from this. You can also use these collector sets to stack them up to use for quick draw clubs. And this is the only role within the game where you can start it without buying into it. You can actually find different collectible locations from the moment you start Red Dead Online and you're put into free roam. You just can't sell those collectibles on until you actually buy into the role. The next best way to get XP is in the Bounty Hunter. For this, when you're grinding XP, you just need to take your time. I've said this many times in previous videos, but just in case this is your first time watching this channel, the longer it takes for you to complete the mission, the higher the reward will be at the end. This is your money, gold, and XP. When you're looking to grind XP in this role, there's a couple different ways that you can do it, but I'm going off the assumption that you're a solo player and you've only just started the role. So with this, you want to head over to the bounty board, look at legendary bounties, and pick any of them. When you get into these missions, it doesn't have a display timer like what you have with normal bounties, and linking back to what I said earlier, the longer it takes for you to complete the mission, the more money, gold, and XP you get. This is still the exact same within the legendary bounties, it's just that you need to wait a lot longer and you need to track it yourself because there isn't a display timer. You need to wait 30 minutes for you to get your maximum reward. And at the end of the 30 minutes, as long as you complete this mission successfully where you hand in the bounty without dying and you haven't killed the bounty themselves, then you should be getting anywhere between 1100 all the way to 1700 XP per mission. This also depends on difficulty. Every time you complete one of these legendary bounties, the next time you go through that exact same mission, it will have an increased difficulty, bringing in tougher enemies and also potentially a different variation of the mission. Now, unfortunately, you can't just go all the way back to the bounty board to select another legendary bounty. This is where you'll need to go through normal bounty posters that are listed. And yet again, because I'm assuming that you've only just started, you've only got tier 1 bounties. But the same method applies here. Just take your time when going through it. This time you'll have a time on the top of your screen, and if you just wait for the last couple of minutes, you'll get the maximum reward. Just keep on doing this until another legendary bounty is available again. The other way and slightly better way to grind XP in this role is to team up with other players and look for 6-man bounties. If you go through a 6-man bounty whilst bringing all 6 of them back alive and you wait until the last couple of minutes before handing in, you'll have a much higher payout, giving you more money, more gold, and much more XP right at the end, being around about 1000 XP for just 15 minutes of your time. Once you get to rank 20 within this role, you can then go onto the prestigious bounty hunter. For the prestigious bounty hunter, it's a very similar method. The only difference is that after you finish the legendary bounties or the 6-man bounties, you can go through infamous bounties. Infamous bounties have the exact same reward system as other bounties, but there's a bonus reward at the end after the final mission, where you can get additional XP on top, and you can also get extra money and extra gold. So you can see how when you progress through this role, the XP method changes. The next way to grind XP is going through the Naturalist. With this role, it's very simple and doesn't change too much once you get to rank 5. It's always the same method. You want to head over to one of Harriet's tents, talk to her, and select one of the legendary animal missions. Each mission will take a different amount of time. Some can be finished within just 3 minutes, whereas others might take 20 minutes. It all depends on the cinematic variation that you get. But once you finish the mission, you'll be rewarded 300 XP. I also recommend for this that you sedate and sample the animal. If you take that sample back to Harriet and sell that to her, she will give you an extra 200 XP, she'll also give you some money for your efforts, and she'll also stamp the animal field book. The good thing is that you have 3 of these legendary animals every 48 minutes. Go through all 3 of them. Depending on the missions that you get, or if you're very quick when completing these missions, you may have some spare time until it reloads again and gives you another 3 missions. In this time, you should just sedate and sample all animals that you find within free roam. You don't get XP itself for actually sedating and sampling the animal, but if you sell those samples back to Harriet, you'll get 50 XP per animal, and on top of that, she'll stamp the animal field book. This is important. If you manage to stamp every animal within one of these specific categories within the animal field book, you can trade that in. Trading it in will give you a set amount of money, plus it'll also give you 1000 XP for every category that you trade in. And this is what you want to gradually be working towards. This is the best way to grind XP when going through the naturalist role. The next role to be talking about is the trader. With this one, it also doesn't change much as you progress to the higher ranks. It's the same all the way through. Firstly, make sure that you are doing resupply missions. It can be very easy, as well as it is still profitable if you was just to go and buy supplies, but buying supplies does not give you any XP. So you need to make sure that you're doing resupply missions, because this is where it will start to stack up. The other thing that you need to make sure is that you're donating the correct animals. It is extremely easy nowadays to go into the naturalist, kill a legendary animal, and go and bring that over to the trader. Donating it to cribs will give you anywhere between 30 to 60 materials. But here's the problem. With the trader, no matter what you donate, you'll only get 5 XP. So if you donate a legendary animal which gives you a lot of materials, you'll only get 5 XP. You donate a normal cougar for 13 materials, you'll only get 5 XP. But this also means if you was to donate small items such as feathers, which can give you less than 1 material, it will also give you 5 XP. So as we're grinding XP, it makes sense for you to head over to Saint Denis and just kill all birds that are flying over using your varmint rifle. Stack up on as many different feathers as possible, being the flight feathers as well as the feathers for whatever type of bird you killed. And then take those all the way back to cribs and donate them there. It means that it's going to take a lot longer to get the full amount of materials within your camp, but you'll be able to progress a lot quicker when going through the trader rank, giving you 5 XP per feather, but you'll be needing a lot of feathers for you to reach the maximum amount of materials. Now this is the way to grind XP if you was a solo player, but if you can team up with other players, then it makes sense for you to do their trader deliveries and their trader resupply missions. If there's a large group of you, you can all keep swapping in and out of posses and you can all help each other out, and this will progress things so much quicker than going through this solo method. But this now brings us on to our final role, the Moonshiner. This role is probably one of the most passive roles you have within the game. There's actually not too much you can do to grind a crazy amount of XP. Firstly, you have your bootlegger missions. These bootlegger missions can give you anywhere between 150 all the way up to 300 XP after completing. These are also the same for dynamic events, and the reason that it's a variation between 150 to 300 is because it depends on how well you complete the mission. Sometimes you can get missions where you need to sabotage moonshine. If you successfully stealthily go through that mission and sabotage the moonshine and get out without being detected, you'll actually have a higher amount of XP, whilst it also reducing moonshine mash also by a higher amount. But if you do get detected and you do need to kill everyone and also destroy the moonshine stills, then you'll get that lower amount of 150. You also have main missions when going through the Moonshiner, which other roles don't have. These main missions have a very similar first time payout to what you first have with the missions at the beginning of the game. This can help you massively, but they can only be done once to get the maximum payout. If you was to go through them a second time, you'll only be getting about 200 to 300 XP per mission. Everything else with the moonshine role is about creating moonshine. If you buy moonshine, you'll be rewarded with absolutely nothing. But this makes it all that much more important for you to add flavoring, because you are rewarded with this. Adding any type of flavoring will give you 200 XP on top. The next thing for you to do within this role is just wait. Wait for Marcel to create 20 bottles of moonshine. Whilst you're waiting, you can go through bootlegger missions which do have a cooldown. But the only other time that you'll be getting XP is once moonshine is officially completed and Marcel's created 20 bottles. This is when you'll get 150 XP, and once you go over to Marcel, talk to him and go through a moonshine cell. If you complete that cell with 20 bottles intact and get the full amount, you'll get 500 XP. This is by far the hardest role to rank up with the XP rewards you get at the end of each activity. This is why it's the last role on the list if you are focusing on grinding your rank. By the time that you've gone through all of these roles in the most efficient way possible, you should also be at a max rank of rank 100 within the game. Once you exceed rank 100 for your character, it doesn't actually matter. It's then just a number, because any rank after rank 100 doesn't actually unlock any new content. But anyway guys, this is the ultimate guide to grinding XP within Red Dead Online. We've covered starting the game, looking through each and every role, getting your player rank up, and also we briefly mentioned how you can quickly get XP when going through any type of pass, being quick draw clubs or any types of future Halloween passes that we get. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going, so see ya.